I don't know who needs to hear this, but if your mind is constantly telling you that everything's gonna go wrong, that's not you. That is a loop, a bad loop that's running in the background. Now, I used to think I was just overthinking or being cautious, when in reality, I was stuck in a cycle that was sabotaging all the progress I want to make happen in life. So I made this one simple switch that helped me break out of it. And I want to show you what that is and how you can make it work for you. Now, for us to figure out what that switch is, we got to understand what we're switching from, right? I remember a while ago, back when I was living with my parents, every morning I would do the same trail walk in my neighborhood. And, it was fun, it was cool. But on one day, I was doing my walk early in the morning and I see this man I've never seen before chilling out by a fence I have to pass. And immediately I'm thinking, this guy is going to kill me. Like, I feel so anxious. I'm like, oh my God, this is it. What they see in the TV shows, he's gonna hunt me down. I've never seen him before. What is he doing? It's too early. Like, losing my mind. But I'm still walking, I gotta walk past the guy. So I'm walking, clutching my pearls, thinking he finna, like, take me out. And guess what happened? Nothing. I literally just walked past the guy and he didn't even look my way. I automatically assumed the worst and nothing. I assumed this guy was a murderer. I assumed this guy was a murderer. He gave me, like, I had no other information. I just made that assumption. And you might be looking at me like, why would you even do that? Why would you assume like that he's a murderer? Well, I want you to imagine you're running late for work. And you've already got a boss who's been on you. Now, if you're running late for work, and the boss has already been on your case, what are you thinking in that moment? How are you feeling? You're most likely feeling anxious. You're most likely thinking, oh my God, my boss is gonna freak. Or even worse, imagine your boss is out for you and then calls you into the office. How are you gonna be thinking in that moment? What did I do? Did I do something wrong? Am I gonna get fired? You feel an anxious pit in your stomach, your heart starts racing. We default to thinking something bad is going to happen whenever we're in a situation we deem uncomfortable. Okay? And then I'm not saying that this shouldn't happen. I'm just saying that that's what happens. We default to this thing out of habit. You and me both. So yeah, me thinking that guy was a murderer, that was dramatic. Yeah. OD. But that's just a sign that I fell back to my default mode of thinking that things are going to be horrible. That the worst case outcome is going to come. And of course, there's evolutionary reasons why we do this. I mean, if, think about when we're fighting saber-toothed tigers. Imagine you're a hunter, right? And you're out you're gathering berries, whatever. I don't know why. You're a hunter, but you're gathering berries. And you hear a noise. Now, you could think the best case scenario, oh yeah, that's probably a squirrel. But what if it turns out to be a saber-toothed tiger and now you're dead? Or you could do the worst case scenario and say, this is a tiger, I'm going to go. And so you leave, and what if it turns out to be a squirrel? That's okay, because on the off chance that it didn't, you just saved yourself. And so we come from a long line of people who thought the worst and removed themselves from the situation, and even if it wasn't bad, they survived and they passed on their genes. Now we're in a modern world where we don't have to look out for people killing us. I mean, we kind of do, but like the world is a lot safer now, so we don't need to fall back to this default mode of thinking worst case scenario to keep ourselves alive. Because most of the time, we're not going to be taken out by some saber-toothed tiger. So it's a different world. So we got to be aware that we're programmed to think negatively, but it's not helping us in our world today. We have to change how we're thinking. So now you understand that we are wired for negative thinking, or we default back to worst case scenario. You can decide, do you want to keep with this same mindset that's limiting you in life? Because you can do that. You can click off this video and do that. Or you can learn how to look for the good, feel better, and just make life feel a lot easier. Now, you have a choice to make. I was definitely in that camp of negative thinking, and I moved over to looking for better, looking for the good, smelling the roses. And I'm telling you right now, I will always prefer to be on a side where I'm looking for the good rather than the bad. And whatever side you want to be on, it's up to you. But if you decide to join the side that looks for the good, here's what you can expect. I remember at one point I wanted to quit YouTube so bad because I got caught up looking at the metrics. I wasn't getting any subscribers. I haven't posted consistently. I felt like I was posting good content, and I just wasn't getting no traction. So I'm thinking, I should just quit. Like, what the heck? Obviously, this ain't working for me. And as I'm thinking, I should just quit, I heard this motivational speaker in my mind, because up to this point, I have been listening to high achievers, empowering things, and filling my mind up with just different voices and different ideas and different thoughts. So at this point, when I'm about to quit YouTube, a motivational speaker, his voice came up to my mind, Les Brown, and he said, "You know you can do it, so do it." And that was all I needed to say. I'm not going to quit YouTube. I can do this. I can figure this out. If I stay with this, I've only been doing this for 2 years. If I stay down this route for 10 years, imagine where I'll be. And I'm in my 20s. I can put in that time right now. Now, contrast that to what most people would hear, the voices they would hear. "Oh, you're right. You can't do this. You might as well stop. Oh, this is too hard. You tried your best. Quit. Give up." People, you're embarrassing yourself. You're posting this content, and your friends see you're not getting followers, so just leave. Like, that's the thoughts most people would experience. But me, I experienced someone empowering me to keep going because I strengthened my mindset and started and taught myself to look for the good. And that's what I'm going to teach you as well. But that's just something you can expect that will happen when you're struggling, when your back is against the wall. You're going to have the resilience to keep pushing because you know how to look for the sign that says keep pushing instead of looking for the sign that says stop pushing. So I kind of alluded to what you've got to do throughout this video, but the biggest thing is you want to start training your mindset, okay? You want to start empowering it. You want to start looking for the good. You want to just rewire how you see the world. And one of the best ways to do that, and the easiest way, is to just listen to high achievers and let their thoughts become yours. Like I did with Les Brown, the motivational speaker. I have been listening to him for a while. And when my back was against the wall, his voice became my thought. And so instead of thinking I should quit it, I said, no, I can do this, and I will do this, and I'm still doing it. So you want to find people that resonate with you, that's speaking empowerment into you, and just consume them more than anybody else. And if you don't know where to get started at, you can keep listening to me. I'm also going to have a star list of empowering things, empowering seminars, high achievers, books that you can get started on to start strengthening your mindset. Now you might be thinking, will this even work? Like, okay, I'm listening to empowerment, but like, so what? How is that going to change my thoughts? Well, have you ever listened to a very catchy song and this hook just keeps you playing in your thoughts and you just can't get it out? That just shows what you put in your mind, what gets in your head, replays. Because if you put that song and you listen to it in your head and it didn't do anything, well, then that's cool. But it does. What you put in your head does something. It loops in your mind. Now, imagine you're constantly hearing that, things aren't working out. No, it's hard to start businesses around here. Everybody's broke. The prices are going up. Like, you just hear negativity. When you're in a stressful situation, what's going to loop? What's going to play back? You know, like the hook. The negative things, it's like a hook. It's going to keep playing in your mind. And that's going to influence you. So that's why it's so important that you are very vigilant about what's getting in here. Because whatever you put in here gets played back to you. And so that's why I'm always trying to put empowerment inside my mind, because that will play back to me when I need it the most. So this stuff really matters. You really want to make sure you're listening to something empowering and get away from low empowering things. So just 5 minutes, just 5 minutes a day. I have that list in my description to help you, but just build a habit of 5 minutes a day. You can do this while you're driving to work. You can do this while showering. You can do this while you're cooking, and you don't even have to fully pay attention. That's the beautiful thing, because subconsciously you are. So just put it on the background, let the thoughts become yours, and you will notice a difference in how you think. And when you start thinking differently, you'll start feeling things differently. When you feel a different way, you'll act a different way. Now, the last thing you want to do, we covered, you want to make sure you're listening to high empowering things, but you also want to get away from low empowering things, not even low empowering, but disempowering things. You want to get away from things that are lowering your frequency, that's negativity, that's polluting your mind, okay? And to get away from that, you got to recognize when you're in that. You got to recognize when you're in a polluted area. If you're speaking to someone and you just don't feel good, and they're complaining, and they're gossiping, and it's just like, they're pointing the blame, they're being negative. Ask yourself, do you feel good speaking to them? Or do you feel drained? If you feel drained, you need to get away. If you're listening to some song and you really listen to the lyrics and you notice that the lyrics are just horrible, like they're not really benefiting you, turn it off. If you're watching TV, if you're on social media and you don't feel better, you're just caught up in all this drama and chaos, get off of it. Because all that stuff you're putting in is you're playing. And it's affecting you in every area of your life. Now, the tactics I use to get away from things that I deem pollution, negative ideas, all that stuff is, one, I'll just redirect. If I'm talking to somebody and it's just them complaining and blaming and all this stuff, I will quit. I will just change the topic of the conversation because I'm not gonna dive deeper into that. That's not for me. But sometimes you just can't redirect. Sometimes you're in a situation where you just gotta hear it. In that case, I choose to just stay silent because most of the time, if I just get silent, either people will keep talking or they'll take that as disinterest and then they'll go to note a new subject and then we'll dive deeper into that. But if those two don't work, then I'll just leave. Like, I'll just remove myself, find a way to get up out of there. But if I even can't leave and I'm stuck around this person, then I resort to mantras where I say to myself, whatever they're putting into my mind, I counter it with proof that what they're saying isn't true for my reality, right? So like if I'm listening to somebody and they're like, the price is so expensive, the $40 is expensive, I think $40 is a banger. That's so cheap. Just to reframe that I don't want their ideas. I want my own ideas. I don't want their ideas tainting me. So those are just some tactics you can use to get away from any information that is negative and disempowering. You might be thinking, so I can never look at anything negative. I can never entertain that stuff. I can't be around it, so I gotta be positive 24/7. No, I will never promote toxic positivity because I went down that route and it's not good. It's simply not good. That's all I can say. Imagine you're driving down the highway and you see a car crash. It's negative. But you can look at it. I mean, you're driving down. Yeah. Oh, dang, that's bad, But don't stare at it. Because if you stare at that car crash, you're going to get in a car crash because you don't see the car in front of you. So, yeah, you can look at the negative things in the world and all that stuff, and you can entertain it, but just don't focus exclusively on it. You want to focus exclusively on the road, You're driving down the highway, you see the car crash, dang, that's bad. Now let me get back to where I'm headed. Let me get back to the direction I'm trying to go, right? So I'm not here to preach toxic positivity. I will never do that. Just know that what you focus on becomes you. And in this society, it is more crucial than ever to make sure that you're focusing on things that empower you because our world, our society wants us to be weak. That's why the values it passes on to us don't make us a better person. We're taught the value obedience to authority, listen to anybody with power and high ranking above you, your boss, your teacher, your parent, anybody. We're taught to consume, to shop and never save any money because tomorrow isn't promised. And we're taught to endlessly entertain ourselves with gadgets, phones, TV, video games, anything to pass the time. That's what society teaches us and promotes to us. So it's really important that we have a strong mindset to reject those values and choose our own values. But that alone won't be enough because we also have to recognize that we were conditioned and trained to be on a path called the default mode of living. And we all know what that is. Well, you get a job and you wake up an hour before work and you head to work and you rush there and 8, 9, 10 hours pass by. You go home, plop down on the couch, eating some food, you're watching TV, scrolling on your phone, you go to bed, you feel empty. 5 days you do this on repeat, and then you have 2 days off to relax, and you drink and you smoke and you just do nothing, and then you go back to work, and 40 years pass, and now you're old, looking back over your life, thinking all I can remember is clocking in. That's what's going to happen for you if you don't get off the default mode of life we've all been conditioned for. If you don't start being more intentional about how you're moving and how you want your future to look like. That's why I made a course called Live by Design. It'll be the first link in my description, which will help you live more intentional and leave behind the default mode of life forever. Now, if you skip over this mindset training, I can promise you, you're not going to get as far as you want to in life. Because you have got to have a strong mindset on top of a strong body, a strong will, to get it. And this is one way you can do that. We train our bodies to the gym, we gotta train our minds too. So this is one way to do that. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, you know the rest, and I'll see you for the next one.